it's definitely going to be a mental defense.
You're excused.
We are taking your calls straight out to Steve Helling, writer with People magazine, in court. So she kept her eyes closed the whole time, wouldn't even look up at the judge?
Yes, she did, and there's no telling why she did that, but she was looking down or else her eyes were closed the whole time.
Okay, she pleads not guilty, and she's using a public defender. That's a defense attorney that the public pays for, the taxpayers. That's for indigents. She's got nearly $1 million in assets.
Yes, but you have to keep in mind that those assets are split with her husband, and right now he's not even going to court with her.
So she's got $500,000 in assets.
But can she get her hands on it? How much is her house worth? There's all these questions. So it's hard to say exactly how much money she has liquid that she can use.
Steve?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you are, but Steve, public defenders are for people that really don't have any money. This woman brings home about $3,000 a month in rental income. She's got rental homes. Rental homes, Steve Helling. She's got rental homes.
Well, yes, clearly they have lived a life of comfort, and they've had some money.
Did you see that house?
I
Liz,
did see the house.
Show
yes,
him the house. Is that a pool in the back? I don't have a pool. Do you have a pool?
Well,
do you have an indoor
yes,
pool? An indoor pool.
Well, not. Anyway, but you know the point is
an SUV,
with
a 3-car garage. You see that thing in the back? That's a pool, Steve. Look at that thing. There's palm trees in the front. A 3-car garage. Her husband is high up in the military intelligence. And I'm paying for their defense? Why am I working 2 jobs to pay for her?
Well, Nancy, as you know, the defense is going to be...
She kills her 2 kids. She kills her 2 kids. And now I got to pay her defense. She won't even look the judge in the eye. Well, did she say anything at all? Did she manage to eke out the words not guilty?
No, her attorney was the one who pled on her behalf. She didn't say a word while she was in court.
We are taking your calls, but first to Steve Helling, writer with People magazine, and I've got your article. You've devoted a lot of time to the father, Parker Schenecker. He was a no-show in court today. What's his deal?
Well, you've got to remember, he's a victim in this case as well. He's lost his 2 kids. And, you know, I think at this point it's just too soon for him to go and to see her and to be supporting her at this time. So he was with friends and family today. He just wasn't going to go to court. That just wasn't going to happen.
Has he been in touch with her since she's been behind bars?
No. He hasn't, because there have been no visits by him. Her family has visited her in court, in jail, but he has not. And, you know, he's just, there's been no phone calls. Right now, he's dealing with his grief, and he's dealing with his kids. So there's no chance that he's going to go to jail, go to visit her in jail anytime soon.
We're seeing video of the father, Parker Schenecker, at his children's funeral. I can hardly even say the words. This article is hitting the newsstands within hours. It's People magazine. Parker Schenecker remembers his children. He says, Calyx and Bo were typical kids who lived exceptional lives. Calyx excelled in her advanced classes in sports, track, cross country. Bo was all boy. He was proud to have just made the soccer team. What I will remember most about Bo is his smile and his sense of humor. I will forever miss I can't even read it.
You know, Nancy, everybody talks about these kids being mouthy, and I talked to dozens of people who said these are not mouthy kids. These were good kids. These were average kids, the kids you'd see anywhere. So I hate seeing them called mouthy because they just weren't.
Well, let me tell you something. Mine are 3, and they're already talking back, and I am so happy because they've got a spine. They know what they want.
I wonder where they get that from, Nancy.
Whether I want them to have it or not, but they've got spirit. They're strong, and I'm so happy. They say, Mommy, I told you whatever. And a lot of times I just start laughing. I know that's not the appropriate response, but I just don't, you know what? I got to go to a shrink. We are taking your calls. Millionaire mom in court. She pleads not guilty, even though we know she gave a full and detailed confession. Her husband, the daddy of her 2 teens, a no-show in court today as he tries to digest his 2 children are gone. Out to the lines, Lynn in Texas. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling, dear. What's your question?
I have 2. Number 1, how long had her husband been away, and had she built up resentment for the responsibilities that he left for her? But also, have the prosecutors canvassed the drugstores around the area to see if perhaps she had a prescription drug like Vicodin problem, which will alter your brain path over a
Good
period
question.
of time?
To
And
Steve Helling, did you have another question, Lynn?
with her liquid assets and all the money, was she actually into drugs as a result of being left alone to take care of all this responsibility? I don't.
Those are good questions. Lynn in Texas, let me just say at the beginning that even if everything you ask is true, that doesn't excuse what she did. But first, how long had the husband been gone? I know he was in Qatar at the time of the killing. To Steve Helling, writer with People magazine, in court for the hearing, how long had he been overseas?
Well, this time he hadn't been gone for very long, but you know, he would come and go because that's the nature of being in the military. And we all know how hard it is on military families when the dad keeps being deployed. So, you know, this was something that had built up, and it was something she'd tell her friends. It was a problem for her that he was gone, but he was serving his country.
Well, that will make a fine defense at trial, why I murdered my teens. You know, back to you, Steve Helling. I've been looking at the photos that you guys have that the father, Parker Schenecker, shared with you. And the one of him hugging his little girl, it says she was a teenager, but she was Parker's baby. She was daddy's girl. He is beyond devastated at this. And then the shot of Parker Schenecker with his little boy, Bo. Bo really looked up to his father, always wanted to spend time with him. They had the same sense of humor. They were so much alike.
You know, it's heartbreaking when you really think about it, because these 2 children were his whole life, and they were taken from him just immediately like that. And so, you know, of course he's torn up about it, but he really wants everybody to remember them as they were, and not just think of them as the mouthy kids or the, you know, the kids who talk back. You know, he wants everybody to know that these were his pride and joy, and that's why he set up a fund for them, and you know, a charity type of fund for them. He really, really loved them.